Hi, welcome to another episode of Geekified. It's not quite Geekified. This is Geekified Music, where we're actually talking a little bit about stuff that's happened on TV and film, but with a little bit of music. So there's a lot coming up with Geekified after this episode. You're going to have, we're going to talk a lot more about music in the future, and we're going to talk a lot more about interviews and talking to people who are in the industry. It's going to be called Geekified Insider, and you're going to have a couple of big interviews coming up. We've already secured one certain person who I'm not allowed to say yet because it's not like we've not got a date, but it's pretty much a yes. And we've done a review on his show historically, so I'll leave that with you. He's very, very big. We've also got a review, an interview coming up with somebody who is a Scottish screenwriter. We've got a Scottish producer who worked with Warner Brothers, and we have got a Scottish playwright all coming up of the course before the end of the year. So that's what you've got. But we are here to talk about something that was put on live just last night for us, or night before for us. And yeah, that was Glastonbury, and it was Kendrick Lamar. Nathan, I know, and we've already discussed this many a time of how much we are a fan of this chap.
The thing is, Chris, you actually introduced me to Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, no, okay.
You sent me a video of him and Imagine Dragons at the VMAs or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
Or the European Music Awards is what actually got me into Kendrick Lamar in the first place.
Yeah.
And it was only last week you sent me a message about, will we get tickets to go and see him in November? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that'll be cool. And then after watching Glastonbury I was watching on the TV, and I wish I was there the other night. I was just like, I will go anywhere to watch this man.
I'll get tickets, and I'll ask, see what I can do. My mum knows somebody who deals with some of the boxes there, so I'm recording. I'm just chatting away to you as if like we're not recording. Anyway. So he's coming to the Hydro in Glasgow, and I think me and Nathan are going to go, and we'll probably no doubt film and probably make an episode of us watching it and be absolutely pissed, so you can enjoy that. But Kendrick Lamar's performance has become a bit of an iconic status for a lot of how political, how motivated, how well shot it was, how well done it was, and
the choreography was phenomenal as well. The choreography was phenomenal as well. I just think it's really interesting. They come out of the weekend, and obviously Paul McCartney played on Saturday night. Had Dave Grohl out with him on stage and all that sort of. Had a hologram John Lennon playing with him on stage on his 80th birthday, and no one's talking about it anymore. All anyone's talking about is Kendrick Lamar on Sunday now. Exactly. I think that you go on. Normally, these festival headline gigs are about an hour to maybe 80 minutes. He played for over 2 hours. Yeah, it's 2 hours. 2.5 hours nearly. Yeah.
So I basically started a bottle of whiskey, and I got more than halfway through.
I think he was like 25 songs or something he played.
I mean, I'm not joking. Like, I've seen. I mean, I'm 40 years old now, and I have seen a seriously good amount of people in my life, like a really, really of iconic status. I've seen Beyonce, I've seen Jay-Z, I've seen like so many of like your tier A people that I've seen. I would have honestly probably punched a panda in the face to get to see Kendrick Lamar on that stage that night. Genuinely would have punched a panda.
Yeah,
I like pandas.
I think the thing about it as well, because obviously he was involved in the Super Bowl halftime show just past, which was good. But I think because there was so much hype around obviously the old school stuff, it got lost a little bit. And I was just super impressed to see it because by all accounts, he's quite an introverted guy. He's all about his music. He's all about writing, recording, experimenting. If you listen to a lot of his, one of the albums I've downloaded of his is like it's called Untitled, and then the song's got title. It's just him jamming, and it's like lots of jazz riffs over it and stuff like that. And it's very bizarre, and he's very into that sort of stuff. He's very political as well. But I just think that's so interesting to see a guy like that, a bit like Michael Jackson in a way, where, off stage, really introverted, doesn't want to talk to anybody. But as soon as he gets on that stage, just the power of the man, and he's not a big guy, he owned that stage.
Oh yeah, I mean, his presence is absolutely phenomenal, and I think like I was sitting watching it with somebody who had no idea who he was, and really didn't have any idea. He had his name, but didn't know who it was, and even he said like the presence he's got is absolutely incredible. He's just it takes a lot to have that certain magic to be able to do that on stage, and he did it.
I'm a big lover of hip hop music. I mean, it's what I listen to most of the time. But a lot of the times when you see these rappers live, it doesn't come across that well on a live scenario. It sounds like they're just shouting, and it doesn't sound particularly musical. Whereas that was a music show. You know what I mean? The guy has got some skill. I mean, he raps so quickly.
Yeah, I think that's one of the
musically, you know.
Yeah, it's one of the most unique things I think about his style is how fast he powers through some of the lyrics that he's got in some of his songs. Like it is so fast. Like it's so much quicker than people like Kanye and even Jay-Z. Jay-Z's not very fast. Eminem's
quick. Really Eminem's quick, but no, it just phenomenal. The only other one, I mean, I didn't see it live. I saw it. I remember seeing it on TV. Was like a few years ago. Jay-Z and Kanye did a concert, and it was pretty good. But this, I think, probably just I can't remember where it was. I think one of the big festivals.
They both did hold the throne or take the throne.
Yeah, one of these big ones, and they and then Beyonce was in the crowd. Everyone kept going to Beyonce in the crowd. Yeah. And that was probably the only other one I've seen which would become close to what I saw with that. I mean, when I years ago I saw the Beastie Boys live, and that was a phenomenal sort of hip hop style concert. I had
the pleasure of seeing them as a full piece as well. I've seen them at
SECC in Glasgow. I saw them.
No, mine was a festival, Connect Festival.
I mean, that was phenomenal, you know. But I think this, I mean, he probably I think. The sad thing's the wrong word, but Glastonbury, people buy their tickets before they know who's on. You know, I don't really agree with that myself. Yeah. But so you probably found that although the crowd were really getting into it, you probably found half of them weren't big fans. And I would be interested to see a crowd that, because there's probably 150,000 people. It'd be interesting to see a crowd of 150,000 people and they were all mad Kendrick fans. You know, I think it would have been even crazier. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I will absolutely guarantee you that in the next, I mean, we're in just about going to July. In November, I think it is, or September, Kendrick is playing. We will definitely do a review. We'll definitely put another review up. Like I said, we're going to be doing more music and talking about more music and stuff in here anyway. But we will do a review and we'll get some clips and stuff if we're allowed to put it up and talk about the show itself.
I just wonder whether it's going to be one of these sort of things that people obviously still talk about, you know, Hendrix at Woodstock and you know, Queen at Live Aid and stuff like that. I wonder if this is going to be one of those sort of moments in sort of pop culture that people will, in 25 years' time, will still talk about. You know?
Yeah, I hope so, because it was genuinely something special to watch him, and especially his political message at the end, because we all know, like, if we've seen it, we all know what's happening, what SCOTUS put through this week for America. And I'm not going to be one of these people who go, "Oh, shame on you, America," because it's not America, it's SCOTUS. That's all it is. It's their political front. Not all Americans agree with this to a certain degree.
A lot of them do.
I know a lot of them do. They do agree with it. But it's not your body. Fuck off and leave it alone. Let people make their own decisions. And that's where I'm coming from. So get it up here. Love from Scotland, all you clowns that decided that.
I think I'm not always the biggest fan of entertainers getting involved in political stuff, but I think that there's a way of using your platform. And I like the way he did his whole show and then did it. I thought that was, I think sometimes do you remember the BLM stupid black and white video the Hollywood people did? Imagine, whatever it was.
Gal Gadot's thing.
Remember that one? Yeah. Like things like that. That was just about my PR company told me I've got to say something. You know, whereas this felt a bit more from the heart, a bit more natural. So it reminded me a bit of I think you said you were at the gig as well, the Rage Against the Machine at T in the Park in 2008, and they started talking about like Guantanamo Bay and stuff, and it felt real, you know, and not put on. Which I think that's a more powerful way of getting a message over. If it feels real, rather than something my publicist says I should mention this, you know.
Yeah. And that's exactly the way it did, because I mean, if you didn't see the show, I really recommend putting it on. And even if you don't like him, get to the end and get to his political message. because he basically just makes a statement saying it's a woman's body is their body, basically leave it alone. But it's a crown. He's got a crown of thorns on the same, like a Jesus crown, and he bleeds through it, and he keeps repeating the same statement. And I swear to God, it was just silence. You could feel I sat with goosebumps just watching it, and just
I was wondering why he was wearing the crown for most of it, to be honest. I thought it was some sort of like, Black Jesus type thing, which you understand because he is. I mean, he's the savior of rap music at the moment, pretty much. But I just thought it was really. I was in. One thing I will say, I think at the start of the show, I think they realised quite quickly when they were filming it that they were doing it wrong. Because at the start of the show, they started filming it in the middle of the stage, and there's these dancers running around. You couldn't really see what they were doing, and I thought, I want to see what the crowd's seeing, and then they changed it more to be like that.
Yeah,
I think the director must have realised it wasn't working. Yeah, there was more going on than they thought there was going to be, I think.
Yeah.
But even like the production was phenomenal.
Oh, it was epic. It was genuinely one of the most unique shows I've seen as well. There's very few people that get away with doing a show like that, and I think he is one of the guys that can do it. The only other people that I know that managed to do a show that I've seen live that managed to do a show that was very, very unique and very in place was 1975. Their show was pretty epic. I'd highly recommend if you get to go and see them.
Yeah.
But Kendrick Lamar, that was possibly one of the best Glastonbury performances I've seen that of my living memory. And that's a long bloody time now. So honestly, if you've not seen it, I recommend you get on BBC iPlayer and put it on. It's probably on YouTube. It's probably everywhere, and it's going to be remembered for quite some time, given the statements that he was making at the end. Very, very hard political statements.
Like I said, I think the biggest compliment to him is it was Billie Eilish on Friday night. It was Paul McCartney on Saturday night headlining, and no one's talking about them anymore. Exactly. And that says something. Billie Eilish is huge now. She's massive.
She's huge.
And just the way Paul McCartney's gig and the way he played it, and because on Sunday morning all everyone was talking about was Paul McCartney, and then suddenly no one's talking about him anymore, which is a sad thing as well, because his show was phenomenal as well. I watched bits of that and it looked great as well. An 80-year-old guy doing a 2.5 hour 35 song set, and it's pretty good going.
Yeah, exactly.
Well done. I couldn't do that on half a stage.
Yeah, exactly. Kendrick, honestly, watch it. Come back to us if you have watched it, which you probably have, which is why you're watching this video. Let us talk in the comics. I'll be there. Nathan will be there. We're all there in the comments. So just get on and chat to us. But this is our first time ever talking about music. It's going to happen a lot more. We're going to talk about more albums and more music and more stuff that's happening in the real world of that side of entertainment rather than just films. But thank you very much for joining us, Nathan. We can do this all day.